honestly, just looking at Genesys deck lists makes me giggle. You just see like, oh, Dark Hole in the main deck, how funny is that? And like all that kind of stuff. It's hilarious.
You definitely need something that is low on points, and that is some removal, because the going first fields are so strong. But let's talk a little bit more about the players. Oh, a 4 from Erik. That is not what you want to see. And that's a 9 for Simon, who is shockingly going to start off the game. But let's talk a little bit more about Simon, because if you are a member of the German Yu-Gi-Oh community, that name definitely says something to you.
It does. I was saying we have made Top Cut with Dinosaurs before, and his story is even more special, right? Because back in the day, when Oviraptor basically released, he only went in with 3 structure decks, as far as I remember, and then made Top Cut at a German national championship with that. Okay. We are using the Miscellaneousaurus here, and we are going to banish it from the graveyard.
Miscellaneousaurus has a lot of points to his name, so that's a big part of the combo here.
And we are going to immediately bring out the returned Dino Deneen there onto the field. Level 1 dinosaur. And therefore able to be summoned off of Miscellaneousaurus. And Erik now realizes, yeah, well, this is not just dinos, this is dinosaurs with a nice little GMX package. Or the other way around, really. Like, both are equally represented in that deck list. It's almost 50-50. And so also no surprise that there is the next GMX monster immediately flying onto the field, which is the GMX researcher Selande.
But we are in a lab now, so I think that we are maybe cooking up some dinos. Definitely cooking is Simon Franke in this situation. I'm quite curious where this is going to go, because you have GMX Velox, for example, as a possible end field piece. Ah, there it is, the fancy croc.
The classic Archosaur. And yes, we are also alongside that running the... Ooh, we drew the Dogoran going first. Of course, not that nice. We're just destroying it here to get ourselves the double evolution pill. The way it is intended to be in this deck. Beautiful to see that we're still doing the old shenanigans of trying to get to the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno even.
A setup for Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is so incredibly cool, and now also paired with these GMX cards. I really like those. Now we are actually going, I think this is the fusion version of the Deneen, right? That is Evolved Deneen?
Yeah, it is.
This one is actually really sick as well. You can just search for a GMX card. And this also has a graveyard effect, if I'm not mistaken.
Does it? I'm not remembering the graveyard effect. You can
summon it from the graveyard.
Oh yeah. Oh true. Yeah, that's good enough.
That is, I would say, quite decent actually. Like having a free fusion monster on the board opens you up to a lot.
And now the gamble factor. We're searching for dinosaurs and GMX cards. Okay. So far only a dinosaur, but there also is a GMX card being found.
And that is that Kimridge? No.
No. It's GMX partner Silandra. And we are going to immediately also be fusion summoning. So you have the choice. Do you want to fusion summon or not? And yes, we do want to do that here. And we bring out our next extra deck target. And that is the GMX Alos, which is being summoned here. And Erik is having a good read over all of those cards. And that, I think, is a pretty common see in Genesys, because there's just so many different decks. It's basically impossible to prepare for all of them.
Turns out you can full combo with everything.
Yeah.
But now Alos is really, really cool, because you can actually get your Miscellaneousaur back if you want. You can get a GMX card back or a dinosaur monster from banishment if you want to. However, it does look like Simon has other plans. We have set up a baby Cersaurus in the graveyard, so that is also something that you could summon back. But
ooh, the Dogoran?
What?
Wait, is Dogoran maybe enabling us an Exceed play here? Because in his extra deck, I spotted there is cards like Felgrand? Are we going to see Felgrand?
Oh my goodness,
Shadow Spectre Original joining us? I haven't seen this card in ages, but it is of course a rank 8 that is good to go here.
Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. This is the last time I saw this card was in Sylvan.
Yeah, you're right.
But this card is, of course, an interruption. Yeah, it is going to be able to, during either player's turn, right? So it doesn't even have the problem-solving card text.
True.
This card is just going to be able to basically Forbidden Crown something.
Yeah, and now with the classic OG polymerization, we do bring out the card that you have already mentioned previously as like the main interruption piece of the GMX engine that will be left on the field, and that is GMX Velox, who then on the opposing turn is able to activate cards as a quick effect from the top of your deck, and if you're able to find a GMX, you are also able to special summon that and destroy a card from your opponent.
That is really, really
it's huge,
strong. Yeah, but it takes quite some damage, right? So you are going to take 400 damage for each revealed card, and we've already taken
never a problem, Leo.
From the Applied Experiment 55.
Never a problem. Don't even start thinking about that. But you're never losing because of it.
10 cards would be 4,000 damage, and then 5 more cards would be 6,000. So if it takes us more than 14 cards, we lose.
Deck building issue, if you ask me.
That is true. If that is the point where you're losing the game, that's true. But this field actually doesn't look too crazy to me.
Ooh.
That card looks a little bit more threatening than Lucina. Now Simon has to pick up the Lucina and read it, which is an absolute threat. We've also seen that on the main featured match from the EUWCQ used by Herman Hansen already, and plenty of other players, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly surprised that you're able to play such a hefty Elfnote package here in the Genesys environment, as we have triple Lucina, triple Tinia, and also the Fortuna to go alongside it. Yeah. We're missing Regina, of course, but besides that, you're almost able to play them all.
I mean, even before Regina's release, the deck was decent.
Yeah, it was.
So it does not surprise me that this engine does see a good amount of play. But honestly, this field looks very, very breakable.
The thing here is, this is vulnerable. Like, you go Lucina, and Lucina basically just can search you the Elfnote Power Patron, and then that is really decent to just interact with, because you can just, for example, book them face down, and then you even have them block their main monster zone. But it looks like we have immediately used the effect of Velox here, and Velox made sure that the Lucina is destroyed immediately, and we bring back the Evolved Davine as well, or Deneen.
Because this guy, when you excavate something, it summons itself back, and of course this card triggers on special summoning, so you get another free card. So while the end field is not the absolute craziest of all things, the follow-up is immaculate.
It is, and therefore only understandable that Simon is 7-2 here at the moment. This is table number 4 right now. So, I mean, we are definitely still in contention to be going into top 8 here for that Genesys Championship. So an X2 score should definitely be guaranteed to make it into that. And it's not that many more rounds to play. It's this round here, the round 10, and then 11 and 12, and after that we're already segueing into top 8. So Erik, we see a Genesys staple in his hand. There is Forbidden Chalice. Basically every deck runs that.
I wonder why we are holding it and not trying to throw it onto something, because Chalice is a card that can be dodged, right? If you don't know what the set card is, so if you want to chalice a Conductor Tyranno and then they chain something like a fusion card. Ooh. Okay, we are showing Smyger. Smyger is a card that plays really well for the Crystron deck. And this is always the moment where you realize, oh, there is a whole other engine.
But like, is it so good? Like, in Constructed Advanced, when you normal summon Smyger, the first thing you do with it is immediately you link it off to get value out of the graveyard effect. Here, though, what are you doing with it on the field? That's the thing.
You're not summoning Clockwork. No. That's very much true. That's, on the first day of playing Genesys, I realized that graveyard effects are a lot worse in Genesys.
Compared to the Advanced Construct, for sure, yeah. You're right.
Destroying our own Velox with the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and that means...
Yeah, putting it face down certainly works. There we go. Smyger is face down now. That's a problem.
But we still have a Tinia that might be able to just play.
Tinia's good, yeah.
We have another Crystron name in hand, and we have the Rhapsodia of Madness, which is also not the biggest extender for your deck. So Tinia actually does work. I think you can get the welcome home with it. And we have a Chalice for the good old Falgren. So there is a good chance that Erik actually might push through this board
Oh, Simon not wasting any time, immediately doing the Felgrand dance, but there is the Forbidden Chalice, the Genesys staple, and Simon not liking it by the looks of it.
Simon, what do you have said there? Has to be something useful for you now, otherwise your opponent is going to start comboing, because that Lucina was destroyed before it could activate its effect, so technically if you get it onto the field somehow, that card is still going to be able to get some use out of it.
Oh yes, and yeah,
wow.
Simon gives the thumbs up, so we are resolving Tinya, and we all know how much Tinya can do, as we are getting the Welcome Home here. Welcome Home then can give us access to that very, very, very strong level 1 tuner, and one thing I'm worried about, can we just get rid of the Smiger with that? We can, right?
I think you just need to check a monster, and face down monsters, as far as I'm concerned, are still monsters.
Yep, you just send one monster from your hand off here to the graveyard, so that Smiger being face down really doesn't matter, so maybe not the perfect timing on Simon's end in terms of interruptions and the way he ordered it, because really, I would have liked it so much if we would have just put that Lucina face down there in the middle main monster zone, because then that would have meant, yeah, no more Elfnote shenanigans for the rest of your turn, as that middle column is just completely blocked.
Yeah, you would have to have Welcome Home hard drawn.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you do have that, maybe we could have just then destroyed the Welcome Home with our Velox, which we chose to destroy the Lucina with. So just maybe changing the order in those interactions could have been good. But maybe Simon also has an answer to the Welcome Home here in his hand, but doesn't seem like it. Of course, those common hand interactions like Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit and Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, not as common in Genesys.
I think you see more Ghost Ogres than Ash Blossoms.
Yep.
Ash Blossom is really, really expensive when it comes to points.
Totally.
I think it's 15. So that is a big portion. And now the Elfnote Power Patron is actually also going to be able to surge, because it was used as material for a Synchro Summon. And now, as you called them before, the Elfnote shenanigans are going to start. And we also have sent Smigar to the graveyard, so I think the Crystron shenanigans might also start. That is just something so remarkable about some of these newer decks, that there was 3 disruptions, 3 very good disruptions, and you're just pushing through them with a mediocre hand.
Yeah, well, we're all loaded here. We can go into both of our engines, and that is a scary thing to say when both of these engines actually have been meta-relevant decks in the TCG Advanced region, and now we're able to go off of them here in Genesys. To be fair, there is some limits to both parts. Like, as we explained already, there is, for example, no Regina helping us out to go even further with the Elfnote part. And in the Crystron department, there is also only one Christian inclusion, so that is making things a little bit harder. And also, there is no Soul Fodor in the... Oh wait, there is Soul Fodor. Never mind. There's only 2 Soul Fodor, but still, that is more than enough.
We also have the followed up Fortuna from the Elfnote Welcome Home. And I feel like the summoning of Crystal Wing is too easy in the Elfnote. I feel like there should be, you should have to work a little bit more to summon a Crystal Wing.
Nah, it's fine.
Let
Crystal Ring breathe
from hand. That is also very much massive, because as we said, the Lucina in the beginning of the turn was just destroyed on summon, or on resolution of the summon. And therefore, if you go for the Rhapsodia, you can tribute your Fortuna, and you summon the Lucina back if you want, and that is going to give us an extra card.
That's true, that's so good.
And I mean, you don't even need the craziest... You don't need to do the craziest things with the deck, right? At some point, just a Crystal Wing, the trap setup, and having a bunch of the Elfnote monsters can just very well be enough.
Like double trap setup even. We get the Elfnote trap, and we probably are going to get the Crystron trap as well, so that is looking really good here on Erik's end, playing through the field and then building up his very own as well. That's strong.
I love those niche strategies that players find in Genesys.
Yeah.
Because just, hey, I have this engine that gets me some cards that send cards to the graveyard, and I have another engine that really wants to be in the graveyard.
Honestly, Leo, with seeing what Erik is doing here, this looks like a perfectly valid constructed advanced strategy to me as well, because the synergy really is there. Like the Elfnote cards, they give you access to bringing cards into the graveyard from the Crystron department, so it's really going hand in hand. And there is FA Dawn Dragster now on Erik's end, possibly checking the last set card that Simon had there the entire time.
Yep, I mean, we are pretty much in the clear that this card isn't going to do everything that Simon needs it to, because otherwise, if this was an interruption, I think we would have seen it on the Tinia.
Probably.
Earlier in the turn, but now we have a Monster Negate and we have a Spell Trap Negate, and we are still kicking, so...
Wait, what do you mean? I saw Erik browsing through his deck there, and he is playing both the Crystron and the Elfnote engine, and then there is triple Molchami Fuvolos in there? That's crazy.
Yeah, that is absolutely wild, even though I find this a interesting pick for the metagame, because the most anticipated deck might be either Talonites or Blitzkrieg.
Well, against Blitzkrieg, it's really not good at all, but against Talonites, but on the other hand, it's pretty decent, right? So,
but Purulia, I think, would be the better choice.
Against both of them, yeah.
Against Talonite, they summon a lot from hand.
They do.
They go through their combo with also Sombre, which adds something back, and then summon something. So there is a lot of summoning from hand, and Blitzkrieg... Against Blitzkrieg, Fuvolos doesn't do anything, because they just immediately lock themselves to summoning from hand.
That's true.
Which says a lot about the value of Purulia in that matchup.
Yep, now Crystron Tristaros has hit the field, and looking at the extra deck, I am curious to see, like, there is only Synchro monsters, so that's already a big difference from the regular Crystron deck that we used to see in the TCG department, in the advanced department, because there is no such things as Infinity. We're not going down the rank 6 avenue, but there is like real big powerhouses. There's, for example, the Duration in there, which can be a good level 11 finisher, which we may see here. And then there also is cards like, I think I even saw Satellite Warrior in there. Yes, there's Satellite Warrior in his list, which could also be huge, of course, and also to be destroying. Like, that card, we might be ending the game here with Satellite Warrior if we do get to that. That's a big Synchro Summon coming in there, free materials for it, and it is Satellite Warrior. No, wait, no, that's a Crystron one.
Yeah.
Looks very similar, actually, but that is Crystron Quariongandrax.
No, I think it is, because we are also targeting 3 monsters on the field right now.
Yeah. That is also what Quariongandrax is doing. They're so similar in artwork and card text, really.
Oh, and we are chaining the experiment. Dodrexer just immediately says no. Simon is a little bit astounded by that. But Simon just gets rid of all of his monsters.
Wow.
Banishes all of those, and Erik is setting up possible game here. Goes into the battle phase, offers the handshake.
That's insane how Erik did this.
It's crazy.
He took apart not a small field, like multiple points of interaction from Simon there, but Erik just seemingly not caring and just playing through all of it, and not only playing through it, but then ending the game in the very same turn as well.
It's crazy how explosive those decks can be, right? Because if you just... there can be 5 monsters with 3,000 attack points. You just brush through them as soon as you can start.
And we looked at the list earlier, and we were already, as I said, giggling because Erik somehow is siding a Mermaid Atlantean package from his. He's bringing those cards. How is that a thing? I'm so excited to see that, because it's a package of 5 cards. We are bringing in 1 Atlantean Marksman, 1 Atlantean Heavy Infantry, and then 3 copies of Poseidra as well.
Marksman.
Yes!
It's just
saying it out loud already makes me smile.
It's what's next? We side in Dragoons attack and then special summon. Oh no, we side in Marksman attack directly and special summon Dragoons from deck.
Maybe. Of course, I'm talking about the Storming Atlantean. So it's no Mermaid cards, right? They're all Atlantean, so it's really just siding Atlantean cards there at the end of the day. But I mean, having that card and having access to it is actually crazy. So I really want to see that.
I mean, this card just special summons itself basically for free going second and gets rid of a monster card or a face-up card and a face-down card.
Yeah, but then the part on the field is also just crazy, because you just can send 1 Atlantean or Mermaid monster from your deck to the graveyard to target 1 card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So you send Marksman or Infantry and go after 2 cards at the same time. So I mean, this card is busted in Mermaid going second, but what if you can just bring it in for free in the side deck? Honestly, marvelous. I don't know whether that's a big thing in Genesys, to be honest, but any kind of water deck going second should probably be including that in Little Engine.
Yeah, it sounds like it should be. How much are you locking yourself into water, though? Is there any locks on this? Because otherwise, this is just an incredibly generic card. However, I mean, you are indeed siding 2 bricks.
I mean, you have to discard a water monster for it to be summoned. So you need to have water monsters somewhere in your main engine already, I would think.
I thought it was from deck, but it's just the on-field effect from deck.
Yeah.
Not a big Mermaid player here, most recently.
But a big Mermaid enjoyer recently, right?
Of course, yeah. But
since this at least.
Crystrons can also just get you going in this deck.
Oh, I want to get going with this second game. So why don't we get it started here in round number 10?
Let's go. Simon has the option to go first again. Erik in the last game defying all the odds already. I think he's actually drawn one of the Fuvolos, and if you followed the last turn of Simon closely, you could see that this card is really strong, and Simon is nodding because in Genesys, having Ash or Cold by the Grave or anything like that, it's rather unlikely. So you will need to be able to find your way through this, and that is going to be incredibly tough.
Normal summon, soul-eating Oviraptor. What a time to be alive.
That hand from Erik does not look too promising, though.
Well, we may be able to refresh it with a couple of cards. So don't be too worried. But for now, it is going to be Simon searching for his Miscellaneous Saurus.
So does he want to just set up a little bit? How many non-engine cards does he have after siding? How?
Leo, have you read Misk? Of course he's going to set up. And he's going to use the effect in the graveyard there too.
Of course, and we're giving the first draw.
He's going to give that draw indeed. Yeah, and the gesture by Erik, politely pointing onto the Fuvolos, saying, I may draw one card with my Molchami Fuvolos there.
And he found another one.
He did find another one. So here, though, it's going to be interesting because you don't want to just discard that on an open... Okay, he did just discard. Oh, wait, or is it on the Baby Cerosaurus? I think he's chaining it onto the Baby Cerosaurus.
Oh,
which is crazy.
Now Simon is nodding because this is now all of a sudden turning into a very, very bad scenario for him. I think he's actually cited a Cosmic Cyclone. That's at least what it looks like.
Oh, Leo, don't look at me like that. You can't see Leo right now, but Leo, since the beginning of days, of Yu-Gi-Oh! Days at least, has been the biggest fan of Cosmic Cyclone. And yeah, Leo, I would like to inform you that we also saw Cosmic Cyclone in our Round 9 feature match already. Yes, Cosmic Cyclone is a big staple in the Genesys environment. And yes, Erik has drawn a third copy of Molchami Fuvolos there.
I don't know where my weird obsession with Cosmic Cyclone comes from, because the card is not really that crazy. It is just banishing a spell and trap card, but something about this is just oddly satisfying to me. However, how satisfied is Simon with the situation? Because Erik is just amassing cards, even though his hand still doesn't look like it's the most playable one. I mean, right now it doesn't look like anything because there's just one stack of cards. But
oh, but look at this. We have summoned out
Yugioh,
Kaitoptera, and that is a level 4. So here comes Evolza Dolka. I mean, summoning Dolka for, in total, 4 draws even, right? Because we summoned the Kaito from the deck and then gave 2 more away here. And yeah, that is, I'm afraid to say, just a monster negate there on the Evolza Dolka.
Yeah, and after side decking, I don't think it's ever worth it to set up a field for multiple draws, because there are so many good field-breaking cards like the Dark Hole we just picked it up
for turn as well. That's crazy. Oh, he drops the third Molchami Fuvolos. Look at that graveyard. Ay, ay, ay.
That is something, but I think the Dark Hole is really, really important here, because also, if you didn't have anything to play with, you could have normal summoned the Smyga and then just Dark Hole.
True, true. Dark Hole, oh, Simon now politely picking up his cards and putting them all into the graveyard.
Oh no, but we can definitely play.
Yeah, we got a couple more draws. This does look like it. Oh, and getting it started by summoning out the Tristaros as your first play is hugely important, because now whenever Simon tries to interact with you, immediately you can chain the effect of Tristaros as well.
Yep, and that is going to get you started even more, possibly dodging some effects. This card is pretty strong. Gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of interaction in the opposing turn. One of the ways to play around opposing Molchamis is just setting up this card and then hoping for the best in the next turn.
Yep, and look at this. We get the Smiger into the graveyard for free by discarding it for the effect of Crystron Elfnote. And that is now going to destroy the Elfnote as it is allowed to do so. And the graveyard effect of Elfnote immediately special summons out another Crystron, which is another Tristaurus, funnily enough.
Now the big question is there a way to bridge from Crystron into the Elfnote?
Ah, don't get crazy now, Leo. Both engines are strong enough. I don't see it. Maybe there is. But not necessarily sure that what that would be.
I mean, is there maybe something you can do with a generic searcher from the extra deck? Does not really look like it.
The generic cards in our extra deck are Stardust Dragon and Black Rose Dragon, Leo.
When there is Cosmic Cycle, is it enough for Simon to get through this turn? Because this is quite the card to take out from your opponent.
Yeah, it's the cluster.
Yeah.
Oh no, the inclusion, sorry.
Mystical Space Typhoon could never do it. Oh, we are risking it now for the biscuit. So the experiment, and honestly, Fuvalos is just going to get us another draw.
Oh, true.
So even the third Fuvalos is doing a job. We're now taking the Deneen, and Simon is going to be... Is this Excavate and Fusion Summon?
No. It is just Fusion Summon. But you can, if your opponent controls monsters, also use fusion materials from the deck. So that is what we're going to do. So we're not activating just yet, but we're giving a draw to Erik. That Molchami Fuvalos, or that combination of Fuvaloses, has put in so much work.
Yeah, they are really paying off. And you know, I was a Fuvalos hater in the beginning.
Gotta take that. And did you see that? We picked up Forbidden Chalice with the one Molchami Fuvalos draw, meaning that, of course, we are having an immediate answer to the GMX Velox as well. We're just making sure how this all is resolving. I think we did it correctly, though. The very moment something is being summoned from the deck or extra deck, you get that draw off of the Molchami Fuvalos. And now the previous chain link, which was the Crystron Tristaurus, is going to resolve and synchro summon with something from the deck, which we are about to summon out for it.
Yep, doesn't start a chain, the draw of Fuvalos, and now... Yep, the Velox has to wait for the Synchro Summoning resolution first. And now it is going to happen. We are going into the Crystron Synchro monster.
Which is the Crystron Eliscalatus, another staple. And that already, like, it's making it also easier to just out the Velox, because that one's now smaller. We're making it bigger and smaller at the same time, because I think the Chalice will be played on it too. So we're giving it 400 at some point, most likely, to then take 500 away from it again with the Eliscalatus. But Tristaurus, it already has such a strong effect on the field, but then we're not even talking about the graveyard effect yet, as we can just banish it here to special summon 2 Crystron monsters from the deck. Oh, chaining the Velox, and good news for Erik, because he has that Forbidden Chalice to also answer that.
Yeah, that's what you get for just committing so crazy into the double Fuvalos. It is Simon is smiling away the pain at this moment, but it is honestly, if you have Cosmic Cyclone and if you have the Quick Play Fusion, I don't know why we committed so much into something like a Dolka as well, because if your opponent's hand is ideal, we're going to very much lose anyways.
Yeah.
But if they're going second, they are going to cite so many different breakers, and yeah, basically just all of those breakers, they are going to find some crazy engine.
Oh, another Tristaurus.
And then it's never going to be enough to just have a Fusion and the Cosmic Cycle. So I think you would really have to bank. When you get double forward, you need to trust your non-engine.
Also, to further explain a little bit on how that interaction went and why Simon wanted to use the effect of Velox there so desperately. Of course, the graveyard effect of Tristaurus is destroying one synchro monster on the field, and only if you do so you are able to special summon 2 from the deck, and therefore Simon was trying to solidly deny that by chaining the effect of Velox, but yeah, that was denied by that Forbidden Chalice, man.
Yeah. Denying is just the name of the game for Erik here. He has just stopped everything that Simon tried to do in the beginning immediately, and I think that this is just, again, going to be...
It's all over again. Once more party time for Crystron, Quarion Gondrex.
And that one is going to probably take care of the Velox at some point.
Yeah, it just banishes it on the summon, really.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
There we go. Simon reading the Quarion Gundrex again. This card actually came out in Invasion of Venom together with Totally Awesome.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it is it's not only cards on the field. You can actually target cards in the graveyard too. So we are taking follow-up away. We are getting that annoying monster out of the way too. But if I can find good news for Simon, I think we will not be able to this time just go for a game because we're missing those big Elfnote monsters. There is no Elfnotes involved at all here so far. And we have drawn into the heavy infantry as well.
That is, of course, the downside. If you're siding in 2 bricks for 3 cards that you can't use to break a field, there is definitely a punishment for that, especially if you resolve multiple Fuvalos, even though then that's the least of your concerns, right? But Erik, he has still a little bit of follow-up. In a sense, he has the GD Crow, honestly, but that doesn't sound too impressive.
Battle phase, there we go.
Does he even set something up with this? Does Crystron not do anything on its own? Maybe not without the cluster. Maybe the Cosmic Cyclone actually did save the day.
You mean the inclusion? Yeah, we would set up cluster at some point, but that was sorely denied with the inclusion too. And now main phase 2 Sulfador, destroying the Quarion Gundrex, which would then of course be able to activate its graveyard effect when destroyed by card effect, and we can then get one of our banished monsters back onto the field.
So Erik does have another trick up his sleeve, and then he would have a level 2 tuner and a level 5 non-tuner, so at least a Dawn Dragster could be set up.
Oh, cluster into the graveyard, that's huge. Cluster and Smyger.
So how are we getting the cluster back?
I think there definitely is a way to add back from the graveyard, but I think that is inclusion, right? Let me double check on inclusion. Inclusion says you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one Crystron monster in your graveyard and special summon it. But one of them adds back from the graveyard, I'm quite certain.
I think we're going to another Eliscalatus.
Eliscalatus time, yup.
Erik is, he just,
there you go, there you go. As easy as that, it is about the Eliscalatus. Ah, that's strong.
A lot of work to take away some of the resources. Summon the Eliscalatus for a second time in this turn. And set up a cluster. I think that's all it. He has cluster and crow. But those do tend to hit quite hard versus the dinosaur and especially the DMX card.
They do.
But if Simon just has a researcher here, doesn't he just pop off a bit?
I feel like yes. This was not as impressive as it was in the first game going second from Erik, because he was completely missing out on those Elfnote cards, and that may as well cost him this game here, because Simon does get that extra turn, does have the opportunity to get going here again.
And the experiment in the graveyard also does have an effect, and therefore we are banishing it. No, we're banishing the Dolka.
What? Oh, we're just making sure. Wait, what are we making sure?
Yeah.
What? Why the Dolka? Huh?
That is a good question.
The GMX 55th experiment report in the graveyard can banish itself in the main phase to just activate the top cards of your deck until you activate a GMX card, and you can add that to your hand. And for that one, there is nothing to be paid. Like we're not having a risk of going down in life points so heavily.
Also, why? Oh, okay. I was wondering about the life points, but it's 2,400, and the no life points damage effect here, that is actually quite relevant, because otherwise
it's big.
This would be
okay.
Almost game here on the spot. And now Erik, he has used the DD Crow on a Dolka, which felt so irrelevant, and afterwards immediately just reading a card that gives our opponent a free extender or a starter.
Did we search for the double evolution pill? Maybe Erik knows about double evolution pill, and he took out the only non-dinosaur from the graveyard. That's the only explanation I can find. Because we banished all the GMX monsters last turn, which are partly non-dinosaurs. And then we actually went in now to banish that very last non-dinosaur. So I think we're just playing around the double evolution pill.
But I mean, for that you have cluster, so that is a rather easy out for that. And if your opponent gets into the GMX engine, of course not everyone knows that, they are, at least the researchers, non-dinosaurs.
True. So GMX partner Silandra or Silandi activates its effect in the hand, revealing it to special summon a GMX monster or a dinosaur monster from the hand, which can just be itself, which is quite funny, but works decently fine. And Simon, all of a sudden with plenty of options there, brings out the Deneen.
That card, honestly, Salandia is incredibly crazy. Getting a monster on the field without normal summoning and then getting another one if you actually have some resources in the graveyard already. And this is now, like, the DD Crow looks like it has to do a lot of work, but it just took out a Dolka, which in the long run is not really gonna matter.
It feels wasted, not gonna lie. So Simon, if he wins this game, we're not having much time for game 3 anymore, so I think that got to be a consideration for Erik as well if he wants to concede at some point, not thinking that he can win here anymore. But for now, let's fire that next interruption that we set up. Let's fire off that Crystron cluster effect, and we are going to be destroying the Deneen that was just summoned.
But honestly, especially on the featured match, when you have your cool Genesys deck that you want to show off, I don't think you want to scoop games preemptively, especially when you still have a horse in the race.
Fair.
Also, you don't really know the ceiling of the GMX cards. So if you scoop too early, sometimes they just cannot play. Sometimes they are missing one specific resource that you didn't know was incredibly crucial for the deck.
That's fair. Okay, Elascalatus was destroyed, so we are going to use its graveyard effect here once again, bringing out the Tristars. But at this point, is there even more Crystron monsters left in the deck to get actual use out of the on-field effect of Tristars? I am a bit doubtful of that, because we've gone through so many on the last turn as we only were going into the Crystron part of our deck, so not necessarily many options remaining there on the end of Erik. Oh, never mind, we're using the effect of Tristars.
Yep, and we get the Sulfador, and that should make a Dawn Dragster maybe, or a Black Rose Dragon, that is also possible.
Ooh, Black Rose Dragon would be sick.
Nope, we are going into the Dawn Dragster.
That
we
was
don't want to lose our cluster just yet. That is just a spell trap negate, and Deneen is very much not a spell trap.
Absolutely true, and I mean, we made sure that at least the Dawn Dragster is still an option, because we did put that Sulfador back into the deck with the Crystron cluster, so that's how we secured to still resolve the Tristaros there. Okay, Simon, that does look like a contact fusion to me.
Goes into Alos.
Alos is here.
Now the question is, there's also a really, really big pushing GMX monster that can actually just completely wipe the field. That is the GMX Comprex.
And Comprex is a card that, let me check his deck list, is he running that?
That card is crazy. If you use it with 5 materials, you can attack 3 times with 3,700.
Oh, but first, let me get the Felgrand. And yes, there was the double evolution pill, which we were trying to play around, but now we have set up an answer to the Dawn Dragster with the Felgrand, and all of a sudden it is Simon picking up the pace here, because he knows he is making it happen here, and we have that ultimate conductor Tyranno on the field, and we got the game in the back as well. What a comeback here from Simon.
How did he pull that off? That was crazy. Just because Erik had no access to any of the Elfnote cards, he really couldn't push through it. I mean, they were a little bit resilient to the interactions that Simon had, but they didn't end up doing that much, and then Simon actually just popped off. The DD Crow could have done a little bit more. I think Simon was lacking a good starter in hand, and the Experiment 55, that just
what
did it.
If we just used the DD Crow on the Experiment? Would that have been enough? I'm not sure, actually.
I think so, because Simon was at 2 or 3 cards in hand. One of them was the Evolution Pill.
Yeah.
Yes, you can summon the Tyranno, but you still have the cluster. And that one is just going to pop the Tyranno.
Yeah.
And then there's one more card. And I think if you have, if you know a card that is going to force at least one of your interactions, I think he could have also still destroyed the Elascalatus, so he could have also made that Dawn Dragster still. I think it was always the way to go to banish that card, but he did just not know about the effect, because as soon as Simon announced it, he just said, what?
Yeah, he has tried to check in on all those graveyards effects, but he did miss out on a very crucial one with the Experiment. And who can blame him? Only released in Blazing Dominion. That card hasn't been around for too long, so Simon made good use out of that.
I think the Blazing Dominion support for GMX is absolutely insane.
It's so cool. It's not like a super big meta stay, but it's such a cool deck to play in general.
Because it has some going sect abilities. I think it can also cook up something in Constructed.
I would hope so, but for now it's good enough here for our round 10 featured match in the Genesys Championship, live from the European Championship here in Brussels, and players are getting into their final shuffles here for game number 3, so let's get going into game 3. There we have them. Not even 10 minutes remaining. And for the first time in this match, Erik going first. Yep, little hydration break. I appreciate that. It is warm here in Brussels, so get that sip of water in. And now combo off. Fly away, Erik. Because for the first time, finally, you are allowed to go first in this match.
And that does look like a Tinia in hand at least, so there is going to be a starter, a Tristeros as a normal summon to secure your combo, and then a special summon of Tinia. I think that is almost as good as it gets.
Just hard-drawn access to both of the engines. That's the dream! And we actually get the Smiger into the graveyard through that as well.
That must be the juiciest wombo combo that you can actually have with the deck. When you also have the discard Smiger for the Elfnote Welcome Home.
This is massive, and Simon just looking at it for the moment, not having any way to interact with it apparently. One thing though, in Genesys, Dark Rule No More is exponentially more popular compared to Constructed Advanced. So those big combo decks can be punished by that card. Just saying, that might be the case here again.
Yeah, but there's not nearly as many counter traps as in Constructed, like Solemn Accusation or Solemn Judgment. I mean, you can play them, but they got points.
Yeah. They are hefty on the points end. And now we have established Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon searching for Fortuna. For now, the middle column is occupied, but we are going to make sure that's not the case any longer as we do go into the next Synchro Summon. Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. We got all the big Synchro tools in this deck.
I think we also run a Stardust Dragon, no?
We do.
I think we can actually protect our monster as well after the effect of the Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon. I think it contributed itself, and then you special summon a Stardust Dragon, and then monsters that are used with Stardust Dragon as material are unaffected, right?
Yep. That is absolutely correct. Only for the rest of the turn.
Okay.
So it's like kind of isolating you from Nibiru a little further, which you're already isolated against as you have the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon on the field. Still cannot hurt, but for now we have also set up the Crystron, the Crystron Inclusion and the Rhapsodia of Madness for the Elfnote department. Erik just switching between the engines left and right, just going into both of them fully and using those last 10 minutes of the match really to his fullest potential, trying to get that big combo field going and hoping that it sticks. Look at this. There is Dawn Dragster, there is Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. How is this not the best deck in Genesys?
I was going to say, this looks exactly like the field that the Elfnote combo deck is putting up in Constructed, because it also ends on Trap, Crystal Wing, and Dawn Dragster.
We're done though. We're setting 2 cards. Are we just keeping the Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon around?
Yeah, we can.
It's a quick effect, yeah. We can do it on our opponent's turn.
And also, it does play into Nibiru if you activate it, because you can respond to it, to the Nibiru with this card, and then you get the monster that is protected from the Nibiru effect. If you use it now, Nibiru can be chained, and then if you Crystal Wing, there is the chance for an Effect Veiler, which is at 8 points.
Okay.
So I think it's correct, actually.
Okay, let's see. What kind of field-breaking cards do we have in store here? First of all, we will have to lead off with an engine card, and that is GMX Lab 5, which is our field spell of the GMX cards. Oh, do we deal with it? Oh, immediately clustering it. Okay, no time wasted.
6 minutes left on the clock, and Erik says, yep, not going to waste any more time in the lab where the dinosaurs are cooked up. Is getting destroyed. Rhapsodia of Madness is, of course, Cluster and Madness are cards that are really not punishing you to go for big combos against something like Dark Ruler No More. However, just using the Cluster first opens you up to big field negates.
That's true. Simon, any kind of response to that now? Maybe that Dark Ruler no more we were mentioning now plenty of times. No, we're just revealing something in the hand, and I would think that would usually be the GMX partner, Sealandy.
Oh, and there is going to be a Crystal Wing
Just
activation.
negate it, and we gain the attack points with a 2.
That is a big, big dragon.
It is. Simon.
Dragon D's negates. Simon is now playing Dark Ruler no more, and that he could have activated just before he activated Salandea.
But I mean, now we're just going to negate it with the Rhapsodia of Madness. But is there maybe now Cosmic Cyclone or something? No.
That would be absolutely huge, but no, of course, we can negate a face-up card with the Rhapsody of Madness. And then Tinia, of course, summoned back, can swap places with the Dawn Dragster and banish a card from hand as well.
Yep.
So, limited amount of pushes, 3 cards left in hand. This is going to be 2 to play through such a huge field. The first one is going to be picked. We're banishing the Soul-Eating Oviraptor.
Such a good one as well to hit there.
That is possibly the best normal summon. We are having the Researcher. Forbidden Chalice onto that Researcher. Simon is laughing, and that is honestly not the greatest sign. He reveals the Deneen in hand, and Erik with the huge combo field that just looks like full power Elfnote is going to take the game, and he continues to be in the running for the top 8 cut.
Leo, seriously, Erik was insanely impressive. Game 1 playing for a full field. Game 2 doing the same again, but then not able to close it out just yet. And now going first, witnessing that insanity of a combo that he just pulled off there. He is a definite candidate for top 8, I want to say.
That is a very, very cool thing about Genesys as well, because the players, you know, they cannot prepare for every single deck in the format because there's just
impossible,
so many. So both games in Game 1 and 2, we saw the players making some mistakes because of missing knowledge about the other deck. But I think that is it for the round 10. We are very close to starting the next round. So we're going to go back into a break. But in the meantime, you can, of course, always take a look at the main stream, watch some featured matches and some content we got prepared for you guys.